What's up? It's your mother's favorite YouTube reviewers. I'm Michael Elliott, and I got a beard.
Oh, geez.
What's up? All right, you ready?
All right. Wipe your brows. We good. All right.
What's up? It's your mother's favorite YouTube reviewers. I'm Travis Elliott,
Michael Elliott.
And of course, Lavar Elliott.
and this is Elliott Views.
We are here with another review. We know you've been waiting to see it. I know you guys have been paying attention to our last two reviews, and we are thankful for that. And so now we know you want to hear what we think about this latest movie. This movie is called Spider-Man Far From Home. It's been a movie that's been out. It just came out, I think, Thursday?
July 2nd.
July 2nd?
Third, one of them two.
Yeah, I think it was like a Tuesday or something. It was something weird. Anyways, it came out just before 4th of July. Okay, we'll just say that. And so we got a chance to get out there, see the movie, think it through a little bit. We haven't come together and talked about it yet. That's what we love to do for you guys so that you get real interaction here, because we want you to know that, look, this is just how we talk about movies.
Not scripted.
Not scripted at all. We may have a little guideline so we understand the direction we're going. Trust me, if you've seen the first video and how long it was, you know exactly why we at least put together a guideline now. But with that in mind, let's get into this.
All right.
Spider-Man Far From Home. We got Tom Holland playing Spider-Man. Obviously, people have their own feelings about that.
Weak body Spider-Man.
Well, you got Zendaya in it. My daughter's really a big fan of her from KC Undercover.
Is she one of those old Disney cartoons?
Technically it's newer, but I think it's been like maybe a couple year break there. I'm not gonna lie, KC Undercover, I actually loved it.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, I love it. El Dorado. All my KC Undercover fans know what I'm talking about. El Dorado. Okay. So anyway, we got those two as far as I think the primary storyline as far as a little love interest in there. So before we get into all that, let's first talk about visuals. How do we feel about the visuals?
Overall, I think the visual is very good. I think that this one was a lot more involved. I think the story was a lot more thought out. A lot of surprises, at least for me. I liked what they did with Mysterio. I did originally think that he was going in as the good guy, and with them doing the multiverse thing, I thought, okay, well, they're going to do a new spin. But when you see the movie, you'll see that there's definitely a nice spin to it. Visually speaking, I like how they brought it in the 2019 visual. So I remember Mysterio through the old cartoon. The cartoon where the old Spider-Man back in the 90s, and looked like he had a bunch of magic tricks, but this one looks like definitely visual effects. They did a very good job, I think, with the visuals on this movie.
I agree.
Especially when you get into how he was able to do it, the technology, the backstory. They played it out
Visually, the movie was on point. I like that one scene when he went inside the bubble of the drones. Yeah, that was sweet.
For me, definitely the visuals I think were really great. One thing I guess I should throw out there, I went into the movie, and I know you already knew, and I didn't know if you knew about Mysterio. I didn't know the story about Mysterio. So I went into this without understanding who Mysterio really was. I've heard his name, so that's just keep that in mind for the rest of the review. But yeah, the visuals I really loved. I really liked the visuals on this one. Like you said, when they went inside of the little creature, I guess you can say at the end, to really get a depiction of what was going on and how it was being created. Because I'm not gonna lie, once I figured out that, once again, not knowing about Mysterio, once I figured out that he was not a superhero, one, it clarified some things for me, and we'll talk about that later. But the bigger thing was it really sort of helped me better understand what was going on. So then seeing how it was done, I was kind of confused, like, okay, how is he really doing this if we're supposed to expect, based on what I'm being told, how is this really happening that it's going to be so seamless and with the visual. So I loved it. I think they did a really good job. I think it was a really good job.
How did you miss that he wasn't a superhero in the past? Have you ever seen him before?
That's the thing. I don't know if I just don't remember him. Like the name Mysterio, front of mind. Wow. If you say, hey, Mysterio, I know where to tie him into as far as Spider-Man. But for some reason, I am completely blank on who Mysterio actually was. Like I don't know why.
Episodes.
I have no idea why. I do not know who. I was an Uncanny X-Men cartoon watcher. I remember watching Spider-Man, but I do not remember
episodes on Mysterio.
Yeah, I just don't. Maybe I just didn't pay attention to it, or maybe I didn't get it at the time. Maybe they was explained to us. Like when me and my daughter was just watching it. The movie, it was kind of like, she was like, what is he doing, Daddy? What? And her jaw just dropped when everything came to revelation. Maybe I just never got that revelation. Maybe I just kept thinking he was a superhero. I don't know. But yeah.
He was definitely he was a villain in the real story plot.
Yeah,
I think they did a pretty good job of bringing, like you said, bringing it to this age with technology instead of having all these little weak weak magic tricks.
And with that, let's jump into as far as the storyline, because I'll tell you this, there was two things in the movie and the Mysterio, and that's why I want to move here, is where it sort of didn't make, it made sense, the information I found out. So I never really got attached to, Jake Gyllenhaal or whatever it is. I never got attached to him, and it never it never came together for me and believable when I was watching him. I don't know if that was the way they wanted to appear because he wasn't really a superhero, but from the previews and the trailers to the movie, I'm sitting there watching this dude like, I know he's supposed to be a superhero at this point, but I just wasn't believing it.
But you should have figured out, because they was making it go so fast. You get what I'm saying?
Well, see, that's where
they're pumping it out, and I was like, oh, they about to pull this switch right now.
Yeah, that's
it's
where
coming right now. I've been waiting for it to pop out.
Yeah, I was sitting there looking like, oh man, this story is about to do something weird, because in fact, halfway a little bit right before it happened, you pointed out to me, was like, he a villain or something. I'm just thinking like, whoa, wait a minute, what? So that then helped me, because I was watching it, and the storyline at first for me was just kind of like, this seems to be going too fast. Like, what's going on? And then I realized, oh, Mysterio must be a villain, but I didn't understand in what case. I just thought he was just going to flip on him and do something. So yeah, but as far as the storyline, I mean, just sort of going a little further, I like the story. And I'll tell you this, I was at a cookout yesterday, and I was talking to some people who had seen the movie, and I always try not to talk too much to people because I don't want to give my best to other people. I want to give it to you guys. Okay, but they kept saying that they gave it a rating of like a C minus, C plus. It was her husband, and her son. And when I was listening to it, I'm just kind of like, okay, I feel what you're saying. But they were like, yeah, the movie was so slow in the beginning. And for me, I didn't find it as being slow. I just thought it was just I just thought it was kind of weird, and like things were going too fast to me, actually, like coming to a conclusion, like something's not right here. But they felt that it was slow, and I differ with that. I think the pace was just fine. I think there was enough action all the way through, and in between the action, the story kept me engaged. The story between MJ and Peter Parker, loved it. Oh, his boy, I forgot his boy's name, Ned or something like that. Yeah, him, and then the little girl that he started dating.
That was the funny part. Their relationship was the funniest part.
That was hilarious through the whole movie watching that. So yeah, the story for me was great. I loved it. I think it rolled just fine. And then the two, if you didn't see the second one, you missed it. The two end credit scenes, I just add that into the overall story because I think it helped me, once again, with the storyline. So what y'all think?
Well, just a note about the acting. I really thought there was something up with Nick Fury, because I really didn't sense
and that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
was Nick Fury. So I'm looking at him like, are they trying to go a new direction with Nick?
Yeah.
Something wasn't right. Of course, when you see the end of the movie, you'll see that that wasn't, in fact, Nick Fury from the beginning. So I knew that something about his acting was different. I think that was, of course, intentional, because it was somebody playing one of the Skrulls playing Nick Fury.
It's almost like they turned his character up a bit. Like he just seemed a little over the top for me.
I didn't think it was over the top. And that's why they did a good job of mastering it for me. I was saying in myself, like, why is he so, I hate the softness.
Right.
And the goofiness. And I'm like, why is he so goofy and stuff like that? Like, that's not Nick Fury.
Yeah.
Something about it was different. And of course, at the very end, they explained.
Yeah. Exactly. And that was good. And that's the other thing.
Yeah.
My first issue was with Mysterio, how it just didn't work for me. And so him being this actor, it made sense now. So then I'm like, all right, I can let that pass. And the other was Nick. That was the second thing for me. Yep. When I got to the very, very last scene, once again, that end credit scene, and you see that they were Skrull or whatever.
Yep.
They were Skrulls.
Yeah, that's when I'm like, That absolutely makes sense because something was wrong with Nick throughout the whole movie and didn't quite get that. So I think they did a really, really good job with the storyline in this movie. I really do. And what about the acting in general?
I think the acting was great.
Okay.
I enjoyed it. I don't really like goofy movies, but this was just enough goofiness in it. The best friend and the best friend getting a girlfriend. It was light, it was light touches of funny every time.
Yes.
It wasn't just them overdoing punchline after punchline after punchline like all the rest of the Marvel movies and all the goofy movies out. So I love the acting in this movie.
And I'm with you because when you said as far as overdoing it, it makes me think of Transformers. Because remember, what was the Wickies?
Yes.
The first one was good, and then they just like completely just destroyed his parents, making them so silly, making their overall just sort of interactions just seem so weird. And so that's where, for me, it's just kind of like, I'm glad they didn't do that kind of thing with them, where their relationship wasn't weird. It was just perfectly timed moments. When he kept calling her babe.
I'm about to say, okay, baby.
And then even my daughter laughed, and I was surprised she even caught it. But when they were sitting on the bus, and after Peter Parker had put the glasses on that Tony gave him, and then he looked around, and then he saw, because it said, we can also read telecommunications, something like that. And so when it cut over to them, and she was like, or he's like, I miss you. And she was like, I miss you too. Yeah. Even my daughter called that. She was like, what? Why would you say, she was like, why would you say you miss you when you're right next to her? So I thought that was cool. But their storyline, as far as that little side arc, was really, really great. But yeah, I think the acting for that was really, really great.
What I was trying to really understand, I think this is a point we want to talk about later, is just why did they feel like he had to be the next Iron Man?
Let's dive into that now.
Other than the fact that he did have, all his technology was kind of passed on. But again, I think he was a 16-year-old in the movie.
Yeah, he's a little kid.
And so to put him in the kind of that Iron Man / Tony Stark pedestal was kind of odd to me.
It was stupid.
Yeah, it really made no sense because it's like he wasn't even one of the original Avengers. Like he's what in one or two of the battles?
He's not even like the Peter Parker from the comic book yet, got a job and is dealing with stuff during the city. But he hasn't even proven himself. Nothing.
But the thing is,
it's the weakest Spider-Man I've ever seen in my life.
And I agree with you on that one. But the thing is, remember, what I'm referring to is, I think what we're talking about is the perception people have of him, though. So we know from behind the scenes he's not really, but the perception that everyone else sees is Spider-Man is this great guy swinging around. Because even that his one dude that hates him that kept talking about the whole movie, he's talking about, man, I love Spider-Man. Spider-Man makes me want to be better.
Because they're from Brooklyn. That's his city.
Correct. And those were the people who were talking to him in the interview. They were all from his city.
But why would Tony Stark give this little kid from Brooklyn all this power? He never, in no movie has Peter Parker show any leadership ability.
Okay.
In no movie has Peter Parker / Spider-Man showed he was even a strong character.
Because
every single movie he was a little wimp.
Because
scary.
He was the hometown favorite.
So what does that got to do with the world, Craig?
What I'm trying to say is the people who were bringing these questions to them were local media. When those people were questioning about that was during a benefit thing that they had within the city. So this wasn't national news people coming in, hey, are you going? No, these were the local newscasters, Fox, Channel 8 News, coming in and saying, hey, are you the leader of, blah, blah, blah. And they know that he had that relationship, I think, probably with Tony Stark. So that's what I'm saying, where that's why I think they came with those questions. But in my opinion, they weren't warranted, is what I'm saying. I don't think there's no reason why you should think out of all of the Avengers, all of the big battles that they saved you from, this last dude comes up. Why are we questioning whether he's going to be the next Iron Man? That makes no sense to me.
But I understand why they asked the questions.
Okay.
What I'm saying is, why did Tony Stark say this guy is going to be the future of everything? I'm talking about why did Tony Stark pass the torch to him with his technology?
Because
at 16.
I think he sees it. I think he's seeing the projection. Because remember, Tony was really hurt. I think the most. One of the things was when he lost Peter Parker. When he disappeared.
Yeah.
And that, I think, is what completely changed his whole mind when you look at Endgame and how he decided to settle down and have a family. And so I think he probably looked at Peter Parker more like a son almost, to a certain extent. Thus, hey, I'm not passing it around to these people over here who are knuckleheads who try to take my company. I'm not passing it to the government. Don't trust them at all. I'm going to pass it to this boy who has been open and honest and is a good kid and has a future and potential. I'm going to give it to that guy because I can trust that guy.
And then he got his purse snatched.
Well, that's why you don't
see what I'm saying?
That's why you don't give the keys to the kingdom to little kids. Okay?
Exactly, man.
So the problem was, here's a real story.
Okay.
He handed it to Nick
There
Fury.
wasn't nobody else to give it to.
Tony said, hey, Nick, this is what I want to do. I want to give this to Peter Parker. Wait till he is 25 and then give it to him. And he handed it to the Skrull handed it to Peter. Boom.
Boom.
That's what happened.
Makes sense.
That's why he got it. He wants to get it. He wants to get it.
Okay.
All right. All right, but a couple things. Let's talk about a couple things as far as in the movie, okay? They're just weird things to me. So, taking a look here. First of all, I still don't quite understand the school age thing. I'm confused because they even said they were gone for 5 years.
With the blip age thing?
Yeah. So for 5 years. So here's the thing. And maybe I missed it. Maybe they're not in school. Maybe I don't understand this whole field trip. I don't know. But the whole thing for me was just kind of like...
They got chaperones, Lavar.
I know, but maybe it's like a end of the year. I don't know. But anyways, the whole thing that was confusing to me, though, was just that, okay, no matter what, it's been 5 years. I get why the kids who've been gone for 5 years have to do school. Why are the kids who've been in school for the last 5 years still in school?
I think in the beginning they tried to explain that. But you just went and saw it twice, and you still didn't catch it.
And that's what I'm saying.
So they didn't do a good job.
I listened to it to make sure I understood because she was talking about that whole mid-semester thing. Yeah. And when I listened to it, she was talking about, I thought she was talking about the other kids, but she was talking about, because she was one of the two people who were the little kids.
Still there. Yeah.
They were both people who, no, they got blipped. They were gone. They came back. The girl and that guy, they came back. Yeah, they came back.
I thought the guy did not come back.
No,
the girl was still
if I'm understanding it correctly, let me know in the comments if I'm wrong, but I thought they both were blipped and then they came back. Because she seemed really upset about the whole fact that we had already gotten through half the school year and we still had to take our midterms again. So I was telling me they did the midterms and she didn't want to take them again, but they made them start the whole year over, which means they had to do the midterms again.
How old was he in Endgame, Spider-Man? Because they said he was 16 in the movie.
He was 16.
So that's 5 years.
Yeah, 5 years. He should be 21.
Yeah, but he was blipped away for the 5 years.
So he came back at 16.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he left, came back, and then we also find out May, I don't know if you want to call it that, May apparently got blipped too, so that answers that little question. I don't know if we found that out in the movie or not.
No, I didn't catch that.
Yeah, because when she was sitting there at the benefit dinner, she was sitting there having a conversation.
Oh, that's why she was looking so young and vibrant.
Oh my goodness.
All right, I'm May.
So she had mentioned that she said she came back. I'm sorry I didn't catch that because it was actually kind of funny. She said she came back after the blip and she said she went back to her old apartment and she said that the wife thought she was a mistress and the mother thought that she was the cleaning lady or something like that.
Got it.
Yeah. So she had made
she was up on that podium.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was.
They had a displacement.
Exactly, that benefit dinner.
Okay.
And then did you guys check the check? I couldn't remember. And I didn't even remember to look at it the second time. Did she give them $5 million as far as cover price?
$500,000.
$500,000. Okay, because I thought I said $5 million. I'm like, it's a lot of money they're giving away to a charity. I guess Tony got the money though, or had the money.
Somebody has the money.
Pepper got the money.
Pepper,
okay.
Pepper got the money. So yeah, that whole school year thing, I'm still not making sense of that at all. That just makes no sense at all to me. And also, I do want to jump back to what I think you had mentioned earlier about the multiverse. That's been one of my problems that I've been having with the whole multiverse thing, is because it's going to allow for them to really start mixing up everything in the MCU. And when they said it in the movie, I'm like, oh, they're really going to go with this multiverse. But here's the question though. He didn't come from multiverse. He just said he did. Remember, he was acting.
Well, right.
So they locked it up. So that's cool.
Yeah.
Right.
So
I like that they shut that down.
Yeah.
I hope they keep it
I
shut down.
think they're going to keep going with the. I
hope
think
they
they
don't.
threw that out.
I hope they don't.
And see if we bite on it and reel it in.
The Spider-Man movie, the cartoon movie, talked about the multiverse. So they're probably going to somehow.
In the comic book, it's a multiverse. So we can see how they're doing it, but
they're probably going to come with a multiverse.
Yeah.
Don't do the multiverse.
So
Don't do it. In fact, do a separate branch for the multiverse. In fact, keep the multiverse in that cartoon. Do the multiverse cartoon, and then in the MCU live action, let's just do that in one timeline because I don't want to get into it. You're gonna make me not want to watch it. All right. So other than that, let's see here. What other things happened? Let's talk about Mysterio real quick. So the concept with Mysterio, and you guys can and give me your input on this one, because when I watched it the second time, I'm watching it and trying to pay attention to Mysterio now because now I know the situation of who he is. One of his things that when he's telling his whole big story, which I will say I did love that little scene when he came out. Yeah, that was really, really good. I think that was a really good explanation of showing what was all being, I thought that was really good. But after he did his whole little speech, as you go further into the movie, he's explaining his plan.
Like all villains do.
Yeah. And as I was watching it and understanding everything now, it then dawned on me, his plan doesn't make any sense because he's not a super. So yeah, he can put this fake facade up as being, he kept referring to the Avenger level battles. So it's like, all right, yeah, you look good on camera, we'll just say. So when, I don't know, Apocalypse shows up next year or something, what you gonna do? Like, you can't make fake things when a real...
Remember, the X-Men should handle them.
But no, I'm talking about his original mindset, though. His mindset was he was going to become this big popular guy and be like an Avenger or something like that, or be an Avenger or something like that. And my thing is, okay, so after that happens, you don't just retire. He wasn't just going to sit there and be like, all right, well, we good and be cool about it. No, he was going to have to fight
eventually.
Maybe
we missed something, but maybe he was, I was just thinking he was doing it for the money, like, to get that little admiration, to get the things that went with it, and then...
So in other words, he didn't think his story through.
No,
it wasn't...
Because he can't be a fat Thor just sitting up in some seaside town.
And that's what they did. I mean,
He wanted, the whole goal for him, I think, was that he was upset that Tony Stark basically dissed his, what they call it, barf?
Barf.
Yeah.
Barf.
Mad at Tony Stark for basically saying, hey, barfing on his stuff, saying it wasn't a good idea. And he basically wanted to get back. And he basically wanted to put himself in that level of Tony Stark kind of thing.
Come to think of it, his drones had missiles, bullets, everything. So if he was using that for good, he would still be able to do some real damage to any villain. Completely put him in an illusion and everything.
But then he would have to. So
if he wanted to use it to defeat somebody, he could.
Yeah. Don't forget about that Spider-Man scene where he was all the illusion.
So that's what he's saying. That's what he's saying. So I see. Okay.
So that could
makes
really
sense.
Technology.
He could do that until you get somebody that's really powerful. It's like, what is this?
Well, it took Spider-Man though. I mean, the Spidey senses eventually kicked in.
But let's say they brought in the X-Men story arc. Okay, he tried to do that mess with Magneto. Magneto just gonna bring all that metal and those things down. He's like, what is this? So that's what I'm saying. I think when you start getting into more powerful people, it's just like, yeah, this ain't gonna last. This ain't gonna work.
You thinking too far ahead. And
when the aliens come back, they just gonna call.
They got rid of Thanos, so they're not worried about everybody right now.
He will play a specific role because you think about a lot of superheroes. I mean, Daredevil. I mean, he's good.
Yep.
But you ain't gonna put him against Magneto or anybody else. So
he's
gonna play in his particular role as far as his technology, his illusions, and things like that. It's gonna be effective for certain type of jobs or issues you want to bring up.
I feel that.
But it didn't work, so I don't even know why we talking about it.
That's true. Another big thing, let's just jump on this. Did you catch that weird loophole, if you will? He has E.D.I.T.H. He gives control of E.D.I.T.H. over to Mysterio. Mm-hmm. But then at the end of the movie, when he really needs to do it, at that last minute, right before his friend's going to get killed, he just puts the glasses back on and takes over E.D.I.T.H. again. He didn't get permission. He didn't get the permission from Jake, unless there's some overarching, master switch or something that he always has control. But that doesn't make sense.
You're thinking right because it couldn't have been that easy because it was already set on kill to kill Peter Parker.
That's true.
True.
That's true
because it was already set on kill, and I can't just throw in the glasses.
Right. Very true.
I didn't even catch that.
Yeah, y'all don't be going deep like I be saying. I be deep, man.
Oh goodness. That is true.
Well, with that being said, what you rate the movie?
All right, what one out of 5 or
no? Is it worth them seeing? Is it Elliot approved? Or was it a no-go for you?
It's Elliott approved for me. I think it's a good movie. It definitely helps make that transition into the phase 4. Overall, all the acting was good. It was a good movie. Do I think it's the best Spider-Man movie, though? Nah, I think we're going to have to go back to the original.
Let's pause on that real quick. Because I've been hearing this a lot. Oh, my goodness. I've been hearing this a lot. People don't like Tom Holland as Spider-Man.
He's the worst Spider-Man ever.
Wait. Here's what I'm saying. I'm not talking about the story. He has no control over the story of how the character is portrayed. Him as an actor playing Spider-Man is terrible.
No, it's not terrible.
No, he's not terrible.
It's not terrible.
His acting, like, he can act.
And do you think he's being a good actor in this role?
Yes. He's being a good actor of the weakest Spider-Man ever.
So of the weakest storyline Spider-Man.
But I still think the storyline's good. It's just him and his genre, his interpretation.
Spider-Man.
I don't like, man. This is horrible, man.
Which
horrible TV.
Which was out of the 3 Spider-Man so far? What you think was
the last one?
You're talking about? Well, I forgot who played that
guy's
one,
name.
but not the.
Not Tobey Maguire.
Not Tobey.
The last one. Okay. I don't know his name, but the last one.
Now I will say I did
I did the best one.
Yeah, I did like the last one.
Period.
I did like the last one. Tobey.
Now they had weak writing.
I liked it because
they had weak writing on the other ones.
I wasn't a fan
of Tobey. If they bring that
Tobey's.
actor back with this writing and the same, like he was a growing man. Come on, we gotta tell him. You know, we be here all day.
I like the movie. Right. It's a good movie. Definitely, if you're still able to see it in the movie theaters, definitely go see it.
Even if it's not in the movie theaters, I'm sorry to interrupt again. Even if it's not in the movie theaters, if you haven't seen it, see it. Yeah. Whether you got to red box it, you got to Netflix it, or you got to pay for it, don't bootleg it.
And definitely see it twice. I think I definitely will go see it a second time just to see if I can catch certain.
So it's Elliott approved.
Elliott approved for me.
All right. For me, it's definitely Elliott approved. I mean, if I had to give a rating, like I told you, there was some people I talked to and they were talking about C minus. I would give this one. I'm gonna tell you this, and I know this may be a little controversial for some people who have seen it. I would almost give this a B+, A-, strictly because of the explanations I received for Mysterio not really being a superhero. That brought me that whole thing back for me, and then at the very end, let me know that wasn't really Nick Fury. Those 2 big issues I had in the movie, it pulled it back for me. Like, yep, that makes sense now. Mm-hmm. So I'm actually going to go with B+, A-, which I would definitely mean that for me that it's Elliott approved.
So we doing grades or numbers?
Well, I just want to throw that out there just to give, because that's what I talked about earlier.
Approved. Boom. Yes.
So I think it's Elliott approved.
Me.
What's up?
I'm going to give you the graphics, beautiful.
Okay.
Great. You need to see it in the movie. Don't see it at home because it's going to make it even worse. Graphics, beautiful in the movie. Acting was okay. I did like that it wasn't that goofy. Had some funny parts in it. Okay? This Spider-Man is the absolute worst Spider-Man in world history. They need to cut his character. They need to get rid of him. Man. They need to recast.
I'm sorry, Tom Holland. It's not
period.
your fault.
It's not you. It's not you.
It's not Tom Holland.
It's the writing for you.
I'm sorry,
okay?
Tom.
It's not you.
Oh,
so for me, it is not Elliott approved. I would not be going to see this movie again, and definitely not going to the movie theater and paying more money.
All right.
I know we're finishing it up, but I think that this Spidey suit though was the worst.
Wait a minute. Okay, no, we can't close this out. We do need to talk about this suit.
This guy.
We do need to talk about this suit. I'm sorry. We need to throw this in there real quick.
They should have took it. They should have kept the last one in Endgame.
He had it. He had it at the beginning.
He downgraded.
He downgraded and created his own. See, that's the problem. Because they had that whole scene, which I did like the scene. Don't get me wrong. I did like the scene when he put the whole suit on and they turned the music on like from the first one. So that was great.
Yeah.
Loved it. Made sense. But he built a suit that, from what I saw, the only thing that he utilized when I once again seeing it again and watching it and hearing what he did, he made the things have electric charge that he could put through it. That's the only new real feature. So it's kind of like you downgraded your suit to use it for one purpose. And then it seemed like the suit was taking more damage because when everything was said and done, his suit was jacked up.
But the other one he had was bulletproof.
That's what I was saying. Why would you?
So
Like, did he not use a nanotech thing? I don't think the nanotech was on this one.
No, he was not thinking. He was not thinking.
All right, so I'm sorry.
That made it too easy. That's why.
That's why. Oh, wait. And why was his Spidey sense gone? What was up with the whole Spidey sense?
That's what I'm saying. It wasn't a good movie.
But that's not Tom's fault.
No, I'm not talking about. I'm just talking about what the goods that you guys think.
In the cartoon, he did temporarily lose his Spidey sense.
But there was no explanation why he lost it.
Well, there wasn't really no explanation in the cartoon, at least the ones I know.
But that's cartoon. We talking about real life.
Look, he was going through that mature. All right. Just to recap, we got 2 Elliot approved and a 1 absolutely not. But majority rules, so?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. Majority rules, though. So, you guys should go see the movie.
Whether it's in the theaters now, whether it's on YouTube, not YouTube, I guess you can't watch it on YouTube. Whether it's on Google Play, Amazon, iTunes, if you like that Apple stuff, go see it.
All right. So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And remember, don't hate, create. Peace.
Y'all.